Welcome back. It's another episode of the Field of 68's 2023 NBA Draft Prospect Profiles. I am Greg Waddell. I got Rob Doster with me, and we are talking Rob Doster's own national champion, Jordan Hawkins, 6'5", 185-pound guard, 16 points a game, 3 rebounds, 39% from three, 89% from the line. Point blank, Rob Doster, is this the best shooter in the draft?
Yeah, and I don't really think that is close. He is the elite of the elite when it comes to being a catch and shoot guy. I don't know how many shooters we've seen that are better than him at sprinting around screens, at being able to create different actions that you can use offensively, and finding the way to get squared up to the basket and get a shot off. Like I can't remember a guy that could sprint as fast as he can, catch and shoot as quickly as he can while staying on balance. It's ridiculous what he's able to do. If you get him open with his feet set, like, he's automatic. I think he shot 49% on open spot up catch and shoot jumpers this past season. He has an elite stroke. He has a quick release, and he's the kind of guy that if you let him get hot, he can reel off 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row on multiple possessions and can change a game. He can win you a game in 4 possessions, basically going on a 12-0 run. By himself. The thing that stands out to me more than anything else, Greg, is the energy that he has. Like, he doesn't get tired.
No.
He very much, and this is my comp for him, I think he's a modern day Rip Hamilton, in the sense that if you use him right and just run him off of screens all day, every day, Rip was coming off these curls and hitting little 15-foot jumpers. Jordan Hawkins is that, except he's shooting threes. And I think he's got the NBA range. The big question that I have for him, it's twofold, I guess. One is he anything more than just a spot-up shooter? I don't think he has the explosiveness to beat a defender off from a standstill. Like, he's good if you get him off a curl, and he can read if someone's on his hip and get to the rim. He's athletic enough to dunk it on you. He can hit these little pull-ups. Like, he knows how to use it if he kind of has that advantage already. He can't square you up and beat you off the bounce. And the other question I have is what he becomes defensively. He tries. He works his ass off on the defensive end. He is 6'5" and 185 pounds and is not the most laterally quick human being that you're going to find. He's tough. He works hard, but there are physical limitations in terms of what he can be defensively. So, like, he needs 25 pounds of muscle at minimum to be a plus, to at least be an average NBA defender. So there's potential there for him to be a guy that can really get after you at the point of attack. But there's also reason to be concerned that he won't live up to that potential.
Yeah, he has good timing. That's what stuck out to me when I'm watching his film last night. Like, he randomly got a lot of either chase down blocks or just like stay in front, keep your feet in front blocks, contests. He beats guys to spots, and none of that's necessarily natural. That's like IQ, and he works hard on the defensive end. Now, if he does put more muscle on, put some more speed on, I think he could translate as a pretty good defender in the league. Look, we watched a bunch of film on these guys. We're recording like 8 of these. Jordan Hawkins' film was by far my favorite film to watch. Like, the stuff they ran for him was beautiful last season. And I like the Rip Hamilton comp. The thing that's interesting to me about that, coming from a Pistons fan who watched prime Rip Hamilton have so much success in the league, to me, in this era in the NBA, I think it's going to be very rare that we ever see offense ran for a guy like Rip Hamilton so much again, unless that guy is the best offensive player on a team. And I don't know that Jordan Hawkins is ever going to be that. And I don't know that there's any team in the league that's going to commit to running like 40% of their shit just to get him open off of screens. But man, off movement, quick release, off balance, square your body up in the air. It doesn't matter if he's fading, if he's rising, if there's a hand. He's that good. And there are some great shooters in this draft, maybe elite shooters in this draft. We're going to talk about Jet Howard later. Grady Dick is in this draft. Hawkins is at a different level just as a shooter than both of those guys to me. And the motor you mentioned is a big part of it. He does not get tired. It's constant with him. I'm curious what you would say as a guy who watched probably every game of Jordan Hawkins last year. Is there anything else he can bring offensively beyond that movement shooting? Because he had an assist rate lower than Kyle Korver, JJ Redick's college assist rate. That's not great.
Yeah, he's not. There's a reason why he shoots as much as he does, right? Because he's not someone that's going to create other stuff for you. Now, He can turn a corner off of a curl. Like, he's very good at being able to read a defender and know what he's supposed to do. He is decent enough at being able to read like when he draws two players, and can get it to like the roll man, can get it to somebody in the corner, right? And I think most importantly, like, he's got gravity as a shooter, where there were so many times last season where him running off of all of these different screening actions would just mess defenses up, and then you would find somebody wide open at the basket. So like, the impact that he has goes beyond him touching the ball. You mentioned the stuff about Rip that you mentioned. I think the best way to kind of compare what the role that he would play in the NBA is think Duncan Robinson in the bubble, right? Where think Duncan Robinson, the guy that earned the $100 million contract, as opposed to the guy that's been playing since he signed that $100 million contract. And I think that there's more potential for Jordan Hawkins to be a good NBA defender than there was for Duncan Robinson. And I think that's kind of what did Duncan Robinson in. But
I think that's important to know, not to jump in, but like,
yeah.
So situation dependent would be a word I would use, because if Duncan Robinson is not on the Miami Heat, we probably never hear from Duncan Robinson again. There's probably like 2 to 3 other organizations I would trust would even utilize him correctly, given the isolated skill set. And I think Hawkins is more versatile than Duncan, like from a guy who watched a lot of Duncan Robinson in college and is very proud of what he's done in the NBA. I think Hawkins has more there, but I do think like, if you throw him on one of the teams that's still playing in the playoffs right now on May 10th, like, I think he contributes on almost all of them. If you throw him on a team that's in the lottery next year that doesn't really know what they're doing, that maybe doesn't even want to win games, I'm pretty fearful of what that could look like for Jordan.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks. Yeah, because at minimum, what he is a guy is what he is as a player, someone that you stick in the corner and you just let him shoot. And the value that he brings is that I do think he'll be able to guard 1s and 2s once he hits his ceiling. So when you get these situations where you have teams that are, using someone like a LeBron as a point guard, or you see Jokic and Aaron Gordon being the guys that bring the ball up, and you have Jamal Murray out there as a playmaker for Denver, or all of these different, there aren't very many like true pure point outside of Chris Paul and Jalen Brunson. Like, how many true pure point guards are there? Right now, you got a guy that can guard 1s and 2s, that could be the floor spacer, that if you have a creative coach like a Spo, if you have someone that can figure out ways to get Jordan Hawkins into different actions, like, it opens up the playbook. Having a guy like that out there and having him able to sprint off of screens messes up defenses. So he is a weapon that you can use. I don't know if he's ever going to end up being a star. Like, Rip Hamilton was an all-star. I don't think that Hawkins will necessarily be that in the modern NBA, but I do think he's a guy that could average like 13, 14, 15 points a game while shooting 47% from 3. And I think there's potential for him playing off the bounce. Like, he's not there right now, but he's like there. He does have some step backs. He does have some pull-ups. I think the worst case scenario for him, and tell me if you think this is crazy, Isaiah Joe on Oklahoma State is a guy played like 20 minutes a game last year, averaged 9.5 points, shot 40-something% from 3, took like 70% of his shots from beyond the arc. 5 attempts per game, some length, some athleticism, some shot making, and just out. Like at the end of the day, the most valuable skill that you can have in the NBA right now is being a shooter and being a floor spacer. And that's what Jordan Hawkins does.
Yeah, I had Isaiah Joe written down last night, and then I scratched it out because I think Hawkins will be a better pro than Isaiah Joe. I didn't want to do him dirty like that. The comp I landed on is KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a guy who has now made pretty much a 10-year career out of being primarily a 3-and-D spot-up shooter. I think Hawkins is a next-level shooter even beyond what KCP was in college and has now become in the NBA. But I think that's his type of role, right? He's a floor spacer. He's a 4th, 5th option on a good team that is around a really creative passer. That's the other note I starred that I haven't even mentioned yet. The thing that jumped out massively when watching his film and seeing him in person at the Final Four, he paired so well with Andre Jackson. Yes. Like if you put him next to a creative passer, he has such a high IQ out of how to play off of somebody who is that good and that's smart and can get him looks off of quick, like dribble handoff screens, whatever it is. And I want to see that in the league almost. And there's a small number of guys, honestly, that I think have that type of gravity that Jackson had in college. I'll throw 2 situations out that I think would work really well for him. One is Denver. Obviously, they're a great team right now, but you slide him in next to Murray, next to MPJ off of Jokic, like he would just thrive and provide spacing for everybody. And then one wasn't a playoff team, but could the Dallas Mavericks not utilize Jordan Hawkins massively right now? He could guard the 1. Luka's essentially the point guard. Luka's this awesome ball dominant guy, but he's also a really creative passer. The way those two would work offensively, I think would really mesh. But like I said, it's situation dependent for me. But if he gets the right situation, I think this is a guy who honestly in year 1 could exceed expectations pretty quickly.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I love the Dallas call. I didn't even think of that one. And Dallas should have a top 10 pick, right? Did they tank enough games? Did they lose enough games at the stretch of the season?
I think it's like 11 through 14 range, I think.
Yeah. So if they end up getting that first round lottery pick, that guy that makes a lot of sense for him. The last thing I'll say about this, that dude is from Baltimore. He plays like he's from Baltimore. He's tough as shit. So like the biggest thing I look for defensively is like the effort. I think that if you're athletic enough, you can be taught the skills. You can be taught the fundamentals. You can, drill guys, being able to be in the right spot from help side. And I think that Hawkins is actually pretty good at kind of rotating and using his athleticism. I think that he will eventually get to the point that he is a plus defender in the NBA. It's going to take some time. He's going to have to get his ass in the weight room. He's going to have to eat a couple fucking sandwiches. He's going to have to put on some weight and put on some muscle. But I think that ceiling is there for him to be maybe not like an all NBA defensive team, but like he's not a guy that's going to be necessarily a liability when it's all said and done.
It's also so hard not to just compare him to other UConn guards. Like I want to just throw a Ben Gordon comp out right now. Like
Ben Gordon, Ray Allen, Rip Hamilton.
It's impossible.
As long as he ain't James Bouknight, we're good.
There we go. All right. If you want more of these episodes, we've got them all in the description below. We're going to roll out more than 50 of these leading up to the NBA draft. Make sure you check out our live mock draft as well. That's always fun. We did it last year. It was a great time. That'll happen a week before the actual draft takes place. For Rob Doster, I'm Greg Waddell. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.